All right, everybody. On behalf of Trident Performance and Synergy, I wanted to welcome you to an app class. I wanted to get this in before the end of the year and make sure that any of you guys that are not already using our app or don't have this have the opportunity to get it and have the opportunity to really make sure that you are using it and understanding all the features. I think this is still probably, of all the stuff that we have, with Trident and Performance and Synergy, probably the most underutilized thing that we have. And I don't think agents take advantage of this enough. I don't really get why, to be honest with you, but I use this app literally every single day, and not because it's part of what we do, but looking at properties, talking to buyers, talking to sellers, understanding numbers, lead generation, marketing. It's something that should be used every day. And I want to make sure you guys understand that and kind of get the idea on how to use and how to play and what you can do. So what we're going to do today is a little bit different than the normal. We're not going to just go through slides. We're going to do some real kind of on-screen demonstration. And I'm going to help you guys understand some of the things about this app, how to use it. And if you do not have it, at the end of the class, I will stay on and share these directly out to you guys. So I am going to record this. So if you want to go back and watch so you can learn, you can. Most of you guys I know already. My name's Ryan. I work with Trident Performance and Synergy. I've been a single agent, ran a team, ran an office, and now I'm just here to help you guys build your business. So we've been going strong all year with our training programs. We're going to continue through next week. And then start back up in the new year. So make sure you have this every Monday at 11 o'clock blocked. We will start back up after next week, then back into the new year. So let's dive in a little bit. I'm going to test this out. I'm hoping this is going to work, but what I want to do is actually share my phone screen. Hopefully it's going to work as planned. So give me 1 second. Let's make sure that this happens. And then I'm going to ask you guys, just put in the chat, maybe if you guys, do you guys see the phone screen? I just want to know if this is working correctly so I'm not going on. If you see my phone screen, just say yes or say something in the chat that you see a phone screen.
Yeah, I see it.
You should see a hammerhead shark in the background. Okay, awesome. So what we are going to do here is just dive into this app, and I'm going to teach you a little bit about it. So we have a couple of different brands on the call. We have Performance Title, we have Synergy Title, and we have Trident Title. So however you got to me, or whichever one of our reps you use, Melissa Kidwell, Dave Ward, Gap Bryce, Tracy Cinder, myself, at the end of the call, I will get you your respective app. So if you work with Trident or you're in the Trident family, I'll get you that. If you work in the Performance family, I'll get you that. If you work in the Synergy family, I'll get you that. All the apps are exactly the same. They just have different branding based on what one of our brands you guys use and work with. So mine says the Landcastle app because that's kind of our parent company. So you'll see that at the top. And I'm going to just go in there and kind of go through some key features and some things that are important. So what you're going to see on this is a menu in the top left, and then a menu across the bottom. And I want to kind of go through best practices and most important things that you guys should be using and how I use this thing every day. Like I said, I really honestly believe that this is an app that just gets used every day. So you hopefully when you leave this class today, you'll find a real world application for this that you can use every day in your business. So the first thing you're going to do when we send this app out, and again, I'll send it out right after the class. I have nothing immediately after this, so I'll stay on. The first thing you need to do is set up all of your marketing and all your branding in here so that it looks as good as possible for you. You're going to see a lot on my screen of just blank images or logos for the title companies, but you have the ability to put your picture in here, your phone number, some social media, all that stuff. And it really is a must do if you want to get full potential out of this. So on the top left, where you see the 3 dots and the little menu button, when we click on that, it opens up a menu of all the things that you need. The only thing that you guys really need to pay attention to on this part of the screen is the profile section and the notification section. So the notification section, if you see when I hit that, it will bring up everything new that is coming in the app. So every couple days, every couple weeks, they bring new stuff in. And you can see there was a Thanksgiving update, there was a Lens update, a Halloween update, fall updates, Labor Day, 4th of July, all these different things. So every holiday pretty much they update for everything that's going on in the world. They update for, so always check those notifications so that you can see what new pieces of marketing are out. And I'll show you the marketing stuff later. And then the other thing in that same menu is the profile. The very top option is the profile option. And when you click on that, you're going to have some basic things that you need to fill out. So if anyone needs my email or my phone number, there it is on the screen. Everything else in here is going to be blank. But what you'll see on the top is the opportunity for 2 photos. One of those is for you to have a personal photo, and one of those is for an opportunity for you to have a brand. So if you have a brokerage logo that you want to use, or maybe a team logo, or a personal logo, you can update both of those and have those in there. You just touch it and it opens your photos, so nice and easy. Your name and personal info is obviously pretty easy to fill out, phone number, email. If you have a website, you're gonna put that on there as well. And then your company info is if you have your own brokerage, if you have your own team, anything like that, it's gonna go there. If you put in the slogan or tagline, it'll actually come out on the marketing pieces that we go through later. So if you have something that you say every time you do a deal or whatever, you can throw that on there. Your office address, you're going to put that in there. Any licenses that you have, so you can put in your real estate license in there. You can pick your default language. This is really cool. We have a bunch of languages in here now: Spanish, French, German, Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, Korean, Polish, Russian, Arabic, Portuguese, Hindi, and Punjabi. So if you speak any of those, or if you have clients that speak any of those, you can service them, which is really cool. So nice and easy to toggle between that. My network is off. It's on my phone, so I don't get notifications. So that's why that keeps popping up. You won't see that. But equal housing, you have the opportunity to put the equal housing on. If you have a little disclaimer or a signature, you can load those in. And then the bottom is your password or the in-app purchase thing. So this app is totally free. There is one section, which I'm going to do last, that you have an option to pay for. You do not have to. It's a whopping 99 cents per month. Or if you pay for it for the year, it's $10 per year. And the only reason there is a cost is because legally we have to charge if we give any marketing pieces or any lead generation advice or tools. It's a CFPB thing. So we don't have a choice. And that is the cheapest you can get something in the app store is 99 cents a month. So that is why we have that. And again, you'll be able to see that section later. You're never forced to pay it. So if you don't want to, don't worry. And you can cancel at any time with your subscriptions in your app store. So that's the profile. So whenever you do get started on this, make sure you set your profile up first and fill in as much of this as you can. The more you put in, the better you're going to get out. So when we hit back, now we're going to work the rest of the way. We're just going to work off the bottom menu. There's 4 tabs that we're going to cover today. We're going to cover the buyer section. So that's if you're working with a buyer, the seller section, if you're working with a seller, calculators, there's a bunch of them in there. I'm going to show you how to use them, why to use them, and what I think is important about that. And then the premium section is the paid section I'll do at the end. So if anybody wants to cut out, you can. And then the very last thing will be I'll share the app out with you guys. So everything on the buyer side comes from working out what your buyer's closing costs are going to look like and then making it look nice and getting it out to them. So I'm just going to put in a couple random examples here and show you what the options are on a buyer deal. So anytime you're working a buyer, you have a buyer in the mix that you're thinking about getting pre-approved or that's starting to get ready to buy, you want to be using this. There's really no reason not to use this because it's giving your buyer the opportunity to really understand what's going to go into the real estate transaction finance-wise, because usually I feel like they get unintentionally misled a little bit because they think, oh, I'm going to buy a house for $300,000, put 5% down. And that means it's going to cost me $15,000, and then they forget about closing costs and what their payment's going to look like and all that stuff. So this helps you as a real estate professional to not only sound and look educated, but really actually help your client. And that's why I always say that, this should be used anytime you have a client, period. There's no reason to not be using this. So home price is going to be what we cover first here. When we just punch in a number, let's just say 300,000, whatever it is, 300,000. Down payment is going to be whatever they have. You can either put the cash amount or the percentage. So on the right side, you see you can flip flop back and forth. So if they have 10% down, you can put that. Maybe they have 50,000 and we don't want to do the math on what percentage that is down. So we can put that there. Interest rate, this is obviously going to be a guess unless you talk to the lender and they've locked in a rate at a TBD. But put in whatever you think that their loan rate is going to be, or make an educated guess by talking to them and looking at their loan disclosures and some of the paperwork that they've done and talking to their lender and finding out what that's going to be so you can be as accurate as possible. Term, easy, right? 30 years is standard. A lot of times people are doing 15. We're seeing 5-year even loans again, kind of coming back, which is a little scary, but put that term in there. Miscellaneous. If you hit that little gear on the side next to miscellaneous, a little settings thing there, you can type in any miscellaneous things that are going to be added to closing costs. So maybe they're going to have an escrow holdback to do repairs. Maybe they have to pay off one of their credit cards at closing to be able to purchase. Maybe they are going to put some money down to pay off PMI. Maybe they are going to pay a point up front to buy down the rate, something like that. Anything that you want to add or subtract, you can do that here. It's not really normal that happens, so that's why it's in the miscellaneous. But if you have anything, we all know those situations come up. So if that comes up, you do that. Hazard insurance, when you touch that, that's the homeowner's insurance. So you can either put a percentage, that's the percentage of the purchase price, or you could put an amount. So if you've already done an insurance quote and you've talked to somebody about it and you know that it's going to be $200 a month, you could put that in there. If you are just guessing, use 1 or 1.5% of purchase price, and that will give you, usually a pretty conservative estimate. Then when we go to taxes, we have a couple options here. Number one, on the left side, we can hit the little drop down that says RE tax. And when we hit that, it'll ask you what town you're in. And if it recognizes those towns and it has updated tax millage, it will actually adjust that for you. So you'll see it adjust based on what the millage rates are for that tax city. If not, and you don't know it, you can always put in a guess as a percentage. Or if you know the exact amount that's in the MLS from the previous year, or you go on the tax collector's site, you can punch in an exact amount. So if you knew that it was, 40, let's just say 4,500, you could punch those in and add those taxes in right away. Then we get down to HOA. HOA, you have to pay attention to the A and the M on the right side. This is one thing that everybody messes up. A is annual and M is monthly. So if it's $300 a month and you put that in annually, it's going to make the payment really low. And if you put $3,600 per year and you accidentally put that in monthly, obviously it's going to make the payment really high. So whatever one it is, it's cool. Just plug that in and make sure you select the right one, A or M. The blue is the one that you have selected. So whatever one you end up going with, just make sure that that's on the blue. And then the closing date, this is a guess, obviously, but you want to put in the date that you think you're going to get closed on. And this does matter because it helps do the prorations for you, where you're prorating taxes and HOA and all that fun stuff. So if you know that it's going to close, let's just say, I don't know, the last day of January, we can plug that in and set that up. Now, when we do all this, we have one other thing on the top right, is the options button that has some advanced settings, a breakdown of closing costs, things like that. But for the most part, we're just going to use this main screen. And on the bottom, when we get all this stuff done, the compute button is going to highlight or open up in blue. And when we touch that, we're going to get an idea of what the buyer needs to bring to close. And we're going to get a nice breakdown of not only their monthly payment, but also the bring to close, and then an option to get more detail in there. So if you look, let's first look at monthly payment. It breaks everything out for us. P&I is principal and interest on the loan. The dark green kind of color is your monthly taxes. The lime light green kind of color is your monthly insurance. PMI is because you put less than 20% down, so it's calculating private mortgage insurance in there. And HOA, that orangey, browny, ugly kind of color, is $300 a month. So this is what their monthly payment is going to look like, a rough guess of $2,012. So this is a big help when people are trying to understand if they buy this $300,000 house, what is their payment going to look like? Could be off a couple bucks either way, of course, but this is really trying to make it as easy as possible. Then on the right side, we're going to see bring to close. So we plugged in that they have 50,000 that they're going to bring, so they're going to have to bring that part, obviously. Then their prepaids are whatever prepaid expenses and the closing costs they have, and the fixed are closing costs. So we're going to plug all that stuff in. If we scroll down, you'll see we have the ability to edit all the things that we put in. So if maybe we are a really great realtor and we negotiate that down to 385,000, now we hit compute again, and you'll see it changes our monthly payment, whatever, $875, changes our bring to close a little bit, and we can kind of edit those things and change them as we go. We also can click on detailed closing costs and have the ability to dive more into what those mean. So if you look on the top, you're going to see it says prepaid costs, 14 months of insurance. That's pretty standard. They're going to take a year and your first 2 payments upfront for insurance to make sure those go into escrow so you pay. 4 months of taxes, so that's covering the first 4 months before it starts escrowing. and then 15 days of interest based on what day it's going to close in the month. Your title fees, you're going to see what all those things cost there, your closing fee, the loan policy, all that fun stuff, municipal lien search, servicing fee, taxes, flood cert, all that good stuff. Your lender fees, these are kind of guesses. You can hit edit and change these when you know your lender fee. So if you talk to a lender and he says, oh, no origination fee and appraisal is actually $475 and credit report's $50 and all these little differences, you can put those right in there. Doc stamps is, based off the formula, right? It's 70 cents per $100. Intangible taxes, title surcharge, prorated tax rebates, all these different things are based on what days you close and who owns the property on what days to cover taxes, all that fun stuff. So you can go in here and edit all these. If you know any of these, or if you know what they are, you can edit them and change them. Or as you get those exact fees, you can edit these to make it closer. When we hit back, the other thing you'll notice before we move on to the seller side is across the top, the thing that we're clicked on says estimate. And if we click on some of the others, it gives us some other options. So if we click on loan details, it tells us more about the loan, what the total amount of the loan is going to be. You'll see at 3%, $235,000, what your estimated APR is, the interest you'll pay over time. Try not to show them that because that number is just sick to look at. What your total payments come out to be, $406,000. And it even has an amortization schedule built in there. So you can see every month how much you're paying off of your principal, how much you're paying off of interest, what is left for your mortgage. And you can scroll down and see every year's amortization schedule. So if you want to play around with that, you can. And then if we go back the other way, we can go to this Smart Compare. And these are just some different graphics that come up. It shows if you did different things. So if you switched it to 5% down instead, how would it change your payment? If you switched it to a 15-year instead, how would it change your payment? It just shows all different options that you can kind of play around with. There's all these different graphics and fun things. For you guys that are struggling with content too, maybe you don't have any buyers yet, this is really great to use just as an example of content. You could say, did you know what it will cost to buy a $300,000 or a $285,000 house? Here's what it would look like with 5% down. Here's what it would look like 15 years instead of 30 years. You can kind of use all these things as much as you want for content. And the other thing you can do with any one of these is you can export. So on the top right, if you hit the little export button, you get a couple options. You get the full report. So that's absolutely everything with all the details. The geo report is like a minimalized one based on the location. You can text this as a snapshot, meaning I could text it right to my client, or I can save it. And if I save it, it goes right into my pictures. So, or my files, whatever I choose. So all of these are options for your buyer. So hopefully you guys can see how this would be valuable for ideally every buyer that you use. But this is something that should be a tool that you're in every day, that you're logging on every day. Anytime you're working with a buyer or a seller, or maybe contemplating buying something yourself or an investment property, this is just a nice, easy resource that you can go on, that you can click around and play around with very, very easily. So I'm going to go back now to seller. So if we go to seller, this is the next one on the bottom, very bottom. Second option says seller there. This is what we're going to work on for a minute here. And this is kind of helping to help them determine their net. And you can put in the top, you'll see where it says Palm Beach. You can also change that to Broward. But this is so if you're going on a listing appointment, or maybe you're working with an investor, or maybe just someone has raised their hand and they're thinking about selling, or maybe they're thinking about refi and they're not really sure what to do. But if they're thinking about selling, you can help them figure out what their net is and help them determine if it's worth it for them to sell. So on the very top, we're going to put in a sales price. So let's just say our client sold at $300,000. Our broker fee, so whatever the total commission you'd be charging is for yourself and for a co-op. Repairs. This is like if there's any repair credits they're going to have to give, or if there's anything that's definitely an issue. So maybe they say, look, we're going to sell. We want to sell at $300,000, but we know the AC is shot. So we're going to give a $3,000 credit to cover any air conditioning issues that come up. Miscellaneous, we talked about it before. You can plug anything in here, same as on the buyer side. So if there's anything they want to do, maybe they want to help pay some of the buyer's closing costs. Maybe they want to pay $500 for home warranty. Maybe they want to buy me a nice bottle of scotch for Christmas. Whatever it is that they want to do, you can throw that into miscellaneous there. Taxes, ideally, we want to know the exact amount. So if you can get the exact amount in here, it makes our prorations like right down to the cent. If it's only a percentage, you put that in there. But if you know the taxes on this thing were whatever, $2,750, because they've owned it for a while, we'll throw that in there. Their loan balance. So rough guess, if you have a mortgage statement, or you can get a mortgage statement from them, or a mortgage payoff, obviously they'll make it more accurate. But if they say, well, we think we owe 176,250, great. We can throw that in there. Their interest rate, and a lot of people skip this part, but their interest rate is really important, again, because of the proration. So every day, every month, every time there's carry, they're paying more interest on that home, right? So if you know their rate, or you can ask them what their rate is, get that, plug that in. Closing date, whatever it may be. Let's go, I don't know, January 23rd. You throw that in there. And the reissue rate, that's if they're getting the title reissue. So that's if they have gotten title insurance with us in the last 3 years. This is popular. We do it on flips all the time. If it's a recent or a quick turn, they have the opportunity to get a reissue rate, which saves them a little bit of money on the title policy. If you don't know what that is, just ask them 2 questions. 1, have you bought or refied the house in the last 3 years? And 2, can you find your title policy? And if they say yes to both of those things, then they can get that reissue rate. If they say no to either or both of those, then most likely they cannot. So nice, simple little cheat sheet there. And then we're going to hit compute. And when we hit compute, it's going to bring us a net. So if we sell it at 300, they owe 176,250 on the loan. The taxes that they owe, because we closed only whatever it was, a week or 2 weeks into the year, that's what they owe the new owner for their portion of living there for the taxes. Their closing costs, which include real estate commission, are all in there. If you hit detailed closing costs, it actually breaks that down and shows you what the owner's title policy is, how much it costs to close and search and liens and commissions and all that fun stuff is all kind of hidden in there. We don't like to put the word commission right on the net, because sometimes they see that, we all know how that goes, and that's fun. You can scroll down then and edit those things again if you need to. And then on the top, again, there's a couple of great options on how you can share this out. So one of the reasons I really like this for sellers is because if you've ever gotten that seller that wants to hold out for an offer that's $500 more and it's going to take them 2 months to get, and in your head, you're like, wow, this seems really stupid. Let's get the deal done. This part in here called holding costs is really great for that, to help you kind of put that into perspective to them. And you can kind of show what it costs them every single month, right? So everything in these apps is designed to help you push for deals. So this one is designed to be kind of a painful image that they see when they're holding out for $1,000 and it's going to take an extra 3 months to sell. You're realizing that it's actually costing them $3,061. So it kind of helps you in your argument to get that thing done. If you go to edit expenses, you can put in whatever their expenses are to make that. You can even add utilities in there to make this a little bit more painful, which is cool. So let's say their utilities are, I don't know, $400 or $500 like mine are somehow. You can plug that in there. Maybe their HOA is $250 a month, and it's going to show them then what their carrying costs are. So now all of a sudden that 3-month carry that was $3,600 now goes up to $5,100 or $5,011, and it makes it a little more painful. And you can put it in months or even in days. So I kind of like the 30-day one personally, 60 days. So when that person is grinding out, trying to fight for that last $500 or stupid negotiation point, or they don't want to paint the door red, or whatever the dumb thing is that they don't want to, give in on, you can just show them, look, it's costing you $1,670 per month to carry this place. Paint the door and give them the $250 credit for carpet. Let's get the heck out of here. So cool tool that I like to use, the holding costs. If we go back to NetSheet, we can go the other direction also. And there's a multiple offer calculator in here, which is cool. I'm going to just go through this real quickly so you can see. But you can add all these different offers to be able to present to them at one time. So maybe the first offer is $300 with $10,000 down, no home warranty, 3% commission. All right, great. So we add that, and then we want to add another one. Maybe the next one is $305,000, and they have $50,000 down. So that's a good one. And then maybe there's another offer that's only $295, but their closing date is today somehow miraculously. So we want them, right? And it's all cash, so they're going to put all of it down. And then when we add all these, you can actually look at them and kind of see, okay, what's the difference in the net for the sellers? Nice and easy. And again, you can export that, you can save that as an image, you can send them these reports. So all these options that I'm showing you, we have the ability to export, send them, text them, Send it right to us to open the order for when you get it under contract, save an estimate, and same with the holding costs. You can even turn it into a cool little flyer like this. And again, it will have your information on the bottom there branded because you will have put in your information and not just our blank logos there. But this is a nice, easy little marketing piece for you right off the bat that you can make. So that is the seller section. So far we've covered buyer, we've covered seller. I want to go into calculators for a little bit here before we get into premium. And I want to keep our time, under our hour. So I'm going to go a little fast through calculators, but like I said, I have nothing after, so I'll hang out after and help you guys out if you need it. So if we go to calculators, this to me personally is my favorite part of the app because I'm a nerd and I like all of these number things. I like any kind of numbers that have to do with money. It's just what I like. And if you're into any of that stuff, this is going to be your favorite part. And if you're into marketing stuff, the premium tab is going to be your favorite part. So all of these things that you see on here are different calculators. Basically, they're different things that you can play with, that you can share and build marketing pieces off of, that you can create content off of, and that you can use to work with your clients. So this iBuyer comparison, this is if someone is thinking about selling their house, whether they want to use an agent, you hopefully, right? Use us for title, or if they're going to use an iBuyer, meaning they're going to sell their house to Zillow or Open Door or something like that. So maybe they owe, I don't know, $225,000 on their house. Okay. Now the market price, we think it's worth, let's say 400. Just making numbers up here, obviously, guys. But and then the commission will be 6%. Repairs 1,500 because we know something's going to come up, right? So we're going to see what that number looks like. And then if we do the iBuyer, you're going to see the iBuyer typically takes at the top will be 94% of as is price. Their service fee, meaning they still hit you with fees. They try to make it like they're not charging commission, and they're not. They're just charging the fee somewhere else. And they always hit you on the inspection for repairs every time. And then we plug in the closing dates. Now, if we hit the compare button, it's going to show us, all right, if I work with a realtor, my net is going to be 140. If I work with an iBuyer, my net's going to be 101. So this is a good piece of marketing that you can use. Obviously, there's closing dates and all different things you can plug in to change these a little bit, but it's a good piece to use. And it's something, again, that you can export right out, turns it right into a flyer that you can brand and put everything together and hold this as a side-by-side comparison right in front of a seller. You can use it as a marketing tool to neighborhoods that are getting bought up by iBuyers. If anybody works like Lake Worth Beach, I've seen Zillow buying some houses in there. Like this is a great opportunity, a great marketing piece for areas like that. Zillow is kind of going after the coastal, no HOA neighborhoods that are like all single family and in areas that are kind of turning over and need to be redone. So this is great marketing for those kind of areas. So that's iBuyer. Next is monthly affordability. This is kind of cool. This is kind of helping people realize what they can afford. So if they say that they want their payment to be no more than $2,000 a month, the rate they're going to get, they think is 3% because they have good credit, whatever. Their term, 30 years. Property taxes on something that they're looking at is going to be no more than $2,500. Their insurance is a guess, and they want no HOA. So when we hit compute on this, it shows what their buying power is, which means what they can actually afford based on what they earn and what they want to spend. So another cool piece of marketing there. This works really good to help convert renters into buyers. What I personally would do is I would use this for every renter you ever talk to for the rest of your life and try to help them understand that if they're paying $2,000 a month to rent, they could own something that's roughly $329,235. What the heck are they doing renting? So nice, easy conversion tool there. Rent versus buy. This one's fun. So let's say their current rent is $2,000 and the home price they're looking at, or maybe think they can afford, is $250. They have, let's just say 15,000 saved. And then we hit compute. And when we do that, it shows them what the actual break-even point is, where it makes more sense to purchase than rent. Almost always it's within 3 years, depending on, unless they're buying a multi-million-dollar house. But it's almost always within 3 years because commissions and down payments and closing costs, all that stuff. And in that time, it's going to take them where they're going to spend $37,515 to buy. They're going to spend $38,350 on rent. And you can see that. And then you can use this little sliding scale, which shows, all right, 15 years in, what does it cost them to buy versus what does it cost them in rent? It shows, has an equity calculator. There's tons of cool stuff on this one that you can play around with, what their payment is going to look like, what their equity looks like after 14 years, after 20 years. A lot of fun stuff in this one. So really great if you're trying to help somebody get off the fence, if they're thinking about renting versus buying. Sell to net. This one helps people figure out, if I sell at X price, what is my net going to be? So let's just say they sell at 300. We can see that they are going to net X, and we can always change that in then and make that say 275, 250, just rough guess calculators, or refi calculator. So if someone's thinking about doing a refinance, we can help them with that, and you can connect them with that. The extra payment calculator is if someone's making an extra payment every month. So let's say their home price is 300,000. We know their down payment, and they're making an extra payment of how much monthly? Let's just say they're adding $50 to their payment a month. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it would help them pay this home off 2 years sooner and save $9,204 in interest. And then if they bump that up to 100, 3 years and 9 months sooner, and they'd save $17,126. So cool marketing pieces in here, and good advice kind of things. These are nice, easy database calls, you know, that we can have. Multiple offers, we did that one on the seller side. Smart Compare, we did that there. Qualify, we did. Handy Calc is just like literally a calculator for all different loan balances. CD timelines is how long things take to close. So all these calculators are fun. You can use, these are all in the free section as well. And the last section we're going to do is the premium section. So the premium section, again, is the paid section. It is 99 cents per month, or if you pay for a full year at a time, it's $10 per year. When we click on the little premium star, it's going to take us there. This has the most valuable stuff and the most updated stuff. So the buyer and seller closing cost calculators, the first two that we did, buyer and seller, they do update those every year with the millage rates and everything that needs to be changed, but those don't change much. Calculators, they add new ones in and work on them all the time, but the premium stuff is updating all the time. So there's 3 sections of the premium part of the app. Number 1 is the infographic section. So this is like the easiest marketing content you'll ever get. Lenses is what you put over a picture. So this is, again, nice and easy marketing content. And lead gen calculators are pre-made calculators that you can use to capture leads on social media or via email or via text or on your website. So I'll go through some of these just so you guys get the idea. With infographics first, if we click on those, I'm not connected to the internet, so it's going to be tough. Hang on, let me try and let me connect real quick. And if my phone goes crazy with notifications, I'll just shut them off. Bear with me if the notifications go crazy. When we're connected here, what you're going to see is that there's all these different great infographics that come up. They're adding new ones in here all the time. They're changing some, they're editing some. They're always kind of building and using all of these, but let's just pick one. This one's called Great Time to Sell. Come on. Messed my phone up here with this. There we go. So basically, these are pre-made graphics that you can go through and look at and be able to play around. And whatever one you pick, if you hit continue, you can plug in the information that you need. So this one is a FSBO, 7 reasons not to sell your home as a FSBO, and you'll plug in what the price is for that FSBO. On some of them, it'll be based on mortgage rates that you see. On some of them, it will be why are people selling? Why are people buying? On some of them, it'll be it's a great time to sell. So using this to help you get listing leads, right? So if we put in our number here, 350, let's just say they have 10% down payment, great. We hit compute and it makes the graphic for us. And there's tons of these in here. So these infographics you can use every day at every price point in every market, wherever you are. And all you have to do is plug in usually 1 or 2 numbers, and then all the marketing stuff, as long as you did that profile that I taught you in the beginning, it will plug in all of your information for you. So I'm just going to flip through all of these so you can kind of see what's out there. This own versus rent is a nicer looking version of that calculator we went through. It's a cool piece. This is a buy or wait kind of thing. So this is good if you have people that are on the fence and you want to shove them off. That's a good one. home facts, when to sell, when to buy, affordability, right? Prices are up right now, but because rates are so low, it's actually more affordable to buy more now than it ever was in the past. Are we going towards a bubble? What do people think? Is it time to invest? All these different infographics, there's tons of them. So again, that's all in the premium section. If we go back, I'm going to go to lenses. So these are things that you put over photos. So either you take a photo and put them over the top, or you take a picture while these are on. So it must have just updated in the last couple of days. Here's all the Hanukkah ones, Christmas, Kwanzaa. I put a request in to put Festivus in here, but I'm not quite sure if that happened. Winter, snow, you can see all these different ones, closings, different times. There's seasonal ones that update all the time. New, you'll see changing pretty often. Then there's just basic closing ones. So you could take this one and take a photo. That's my computer. Obviously, you would like take that over the house or in front of the house or something, and then you have a nice, easy marketing piece. Let me grab a couple more just so you guys can see. So a ton of them about closings. These Realtor Life ones are just fun ones for you guys to use. You can see a lot of different ones on there. Listing ones, anytime you get a new listing or put something under contract or do an open house. Bunch of extra open house ones. There's a cool one that's for digital. I like this one. So for digital or virtual showings, if you're not doing in person because of COVID. Let me go back, show you some more. And then just some fun stuff on here as well. So those are all the lenses. Again, nice, easy marketing. And then the lead gen calculator is probably my favorite, again, because I love the calculators, but these help you actually generate leads. So if you hit lead gen calculators, they just updated this actually, I think it was last week. There's 25 in here now. There used to be 21. Let me just grab one. This one always makes me laugh because they're stuffing money down a toilet, which is kind of funny. So the goal of this one is to get people off the rent first buy, right? And when you tap on this, you can kind of see what it looks like. And this is a post that you can just take and use. So you'll plug in some numbers based on the area or maybe a home that you're working on. So maybe desired home price is $250. And you're targeting people that have maybe not a ton of money down. Maybe they have $10,000 saved total. Their current rent, maybe you're trying to get someone off the fence of renting, so their rent is $1,750. And then when you hit go, it's going to make you a couple of different things. It's going to make you what we talked about earlier, the calculator. And then when you hit the export, you can send this out and you can text this out, you can email it out, you can Facebook it out. And when they get this, they're going to have to plug in their own numbers. They'll plug in what they're paying for rent. They'll plug in what a home price that they're thinking about buying. And when they do that, or when anybody captures that, it sends you the lead. So they have to put in their email address to be able to use this. And it sends that information to you. You'll actually get a notification in your app that says Joe Smith used your money in the toilet lead gen calculator. Contact him to find out if he's ready to buy. And there's a bunch of different ones. So there's ones for if you're thinking about selling. So these are good for ads or for marketing. There's ones about buying. There's mortgage ones. There's thinking about what you can afford. There's a bunch of them, and they update them all the time and they change them all the time. So I like this little one too. How much equity do you have in your home? This is a great one if you're trying to generate sellers, right? So if you're trying to help people realize how much equity they have, maybe it's time to cash that equity out and either refi or sell or move up or move down or pay off some debt or whatever. So all of these calculators are in here, easy to use. They're nice and easy. You can post them. Like I said, you can export them right out of the app. I don't have to do anything. And I can text them to people. I can email them, Facebook them, Twitter them. Anything that you use, or you could just save them and then use them outside of that yourself. So hopefully you guys learned something today on this. I'm going to go real quickly back and just wrap up some slides here before we finish up. But does anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything they want to talk about? Has anybody used the app before? If not, and you want the app, let me share here real quick a little final. And then I will wrap up, and I'll stay on for anybody that wants to get the app or learn more about how to use it. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to just go to finish off the slides. All right, so we did the phone part, obviously, right? So in summary, this is an app that every one of you should have on your phone. There's also actually a desktop version, so you could download it right onto your desktop. I'm a Mac guy, so I have it as an app on my Mac, and I use it sitting in front of the computer all the time. And it's nice and easy to get. So if you guys want that, let me know. If you want the replay of what we did today, let me know. Or if you want the app, let me know. If you want, you can either type your email in or your phone number into the chat. Make sure you put your name, a full name. So if you're on here by a nickname or just a phone number or something, put your name, your phone number, and your email, and we can share the app out to you today so that you can get it and be able to get on it. If you haven't already sent us deals, please do so. To those of you that have been supporting us all year, we appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to keep doing these trainings without you guys. So I certainly thank you for that. Kara, thanks for the slides. As always, scrambling to get these done this morning. So thank you. Coming up to wrap up the year, we have 2 more things left before we wrap up the year. This Thursday at 4 o'clock, Better Call Paul with our in-house attorney, Paul Krasker. We're going to talk about 1031 exchanges. So if you have a client or are working with clients that are doing a 1031 or are thinking about it, or you need somebody to do one for you, you want to get on here on this class. This is something that as we're wrapping up the year, you really should be paying attention to. And if you have no idea what a 1031 exchange is or what I'm talking about, definitely make sure you get on that. And then Monday, 1 week from today at 11 o'clock, we're just going to do a mastermind. It's going to be very light, very informal, just to kind of wrap up the year. I know some people are already checked out, but I'm just going to come on for an hour and work with you guys on whatever it is you want to work on. So it's not going to be tech questions or how do I set up my laptop. It's going to be more of business building, business planning, ideas you want to throw around for 2021, anything like that. I'm sure there's not going to be many people on here. So if you want to get on and help or want help or want to be a part of that, would love to have you. And for everybody else, I hope you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a Happy Kwanzaa, a Happy Festivus to the rest of us. And we will kick back off next year. So if you have not yet gotten the app and you want the app, either throw your information in the chat and say that you want the app, or just email me when we get off this and we'll get them out today. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that want it. So I don't know. If anybody has any questions, I will stay on. And if not, I wish you guys the best.
Brian, I got a question.
Sure.